Hey guys, so Christopher Nolan is certainly one of the most celebrated filmmakers and he's certainly one of my favorites. And it's really great that many of the common audience are aware of this director and his unique vision. So after having watched all of his films, I thought I would decide to rank them. And be aware that this ranking is not definitive and the list might change depending on my mood. So if you want to be updated, click on my letterbox link in the description where you'll see the rating updated. And you know what? Let's just get along with the ranking. On number 11 comes Tenet. Here's the thing, right? I simply like Tenet mainly because of its sheer scale and courage to tackle such complex ideas. In an age saturated with blockbusters, this film managed to get me to say wow, which doesn't really happen nowadays. The score is terrific and visually the film is pretty solid, along with the cast that was really stellar. But the villain is way too plain and generic, I didn't care about the characters at all, and the plot is so confusing that it becomes boring. I've seen it 3 to 4 times now, and my perspective hasn't changed much. Number 10, Following. Following is actually Nolan's first film and it's actually pretty good. It has a simple and small scale plot which matches the small scale budget of the film. The cast shines and the black and white cinematography is beautiful to look at, as windows are used as the main source of light. It certainly isn't Nolan's best, but it's pretty impressive for a directorial debut. Number 9 is Insomnia. Insomnia is arguably Nolan's most underrated film. Is it great? Yeah, it's an engaging crime thriller where Al Pacino tries to find out the identity of a child murderer. The visual look of the film is stellar. Smoke, light, and shadows are used to put us in the headspace of the main character, and the cast is great as well. It's thrilling till the last frame. Number 8 is The Dark Knight Rises. I love this movie actually. It has its flaws, but it's still a great film according to me. Bruce's character is progressed after The Dark Knight, and it explores new themes that is a perfect continuation from his predecessor. Bane is a terrific villain who challenges Batman in the physical department, and the score is magnificent as always. A perfect conclusion to the trilogy and a near perfect film. Number 7 is Batman Begins. One of the finest origin stories ever put to film. Bruce Wayne's character is brilliantly explored. His flaws, his trauma, his mistakes, and redemption. His rise as Batman is glorious to witness along with the production design, which makes Gotham feel like a character. Even the supporting characters are all great from a writing perspective. The only flaw of the film is that sometimes the jarring editing and action sequences break the flow of the scene, but other than that, this film works really well. Number 6 is actually Interstellar. Now, many people consider this movie a masterpiece, and to many, it's their favorite movie ever made. And while it isn't that for me, this is still one splendid piece of cinema. Hans Zimmer's score suits the tone and scale of the film. There are many scenes of tension as well as human connection. To look at it visually, this film is basically perfect. Maybe the only problem is the overuse of exposition as well as saying the theme out loud, but it doesn't detract from the completely immersive experience this film provides. Number 5 is Dunkirk, one of my favorite war films ever made. At first, I liked it, but I didn't feel that connected to the characters. But on rewatch, man, does this film hold up. This is an interesting challenge for Nolan because the characters don't talk much in this film, so most of the emotion has to be conveyed visually. The music is great as it gives a feeling of a ticking time bomb that increases the feeling of suspense. The dogfights kept me wondering on how that was shot as well as immersing me in the experience of the film. The cinematography is also beyond beautiful and the film just works for me. Number 4 is Inception, one of the most influential films of the 21st century, and understandably so. The sheer imagination of even having the thought of something like this, let alone make it into a film, is unparalleled. And the genius of the film is that the spectacle doesn't overshadow the characters. Dom, Cobb, and Fisher are the heart of the film, as their stories were the emotional hook of the film. The visual experience of this film is also something else, yet it still has great writing at its core, one of the best films I've ever seen. Number 3, Memento. This is the film that put Nolan on the map. Unlike Tenet, this is a film that has a confusing plot, but the humanity of the film is also there. Guy Pearce is marvelous in the lead role, and the rest of the cast are also stellar. The bold storytelling choices has to be appreciated, and the use of color and black and white visually indicate the timeline of the film, and the film is structured in such a way that puts us in the perspective of the main character, as well as it's written in such a way that the twists reveal themselves. The ending is suiting to the story as well, and it's a true masterpiece. Number 2, The Prestige. This was a film I never knew Nolan made and released just a year after Batman Begins. But man, after rewatching it, it is one of Nolan's best. It's about two magicians one-upping each other throughout the film. That enmity drives the plot of the film, and the film balances this magical realism with utmost delicacy. Bale and Jackman steal the show, but Johansson and Rebecca hold on their own as well, with David Bowie and Michael Caine also being memorable. The turns and twists are shocking as well as they are suitable to the story, and this is easily one of the best movies ever made. Number 1. And now, as you already know, in number 1, we probably have the best movie ever made, The Dark Knight. I have seen this film way too many times, and it just keeps on giving. I have nothing new to say. Joker is the greatest villain ever in the history of ever. Heath Ledger, Aaron Eckhart, Christian Bale, Gary Oldman, Maggie Gyllenhaal are all perfectly cast. The screenplay of the film is one of the best ever written that challenges Batman's ethics, which makes the conflict a pure philosophical one. Each character has a purpose in the overall narrative. Zimmer's score is flawless, the use of IMAX cameras changed Nolan's filmmaking style for the better, and the film asks an important question about how lies are used to maintain the stability of society. The film is pure, unfiltered cinematic perfection, and I love it to death. So yeah, this was my Nolan ranking. You can tell me your ranking in the comment section below. I will definitely respond, and have a good day.